Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Business. So today, Deanna and I are going to be talking about something we have seen time and time again with new business owners, new bookkeepers, new entrepreneurs, which is getting stuck in that overthinking, over planning, and waiting for the perfect moment to start. I know this is something that I have a bad habit of, so I'm excited to talk with you about this, Deanna, today.
Me too. Yep. I mean, seriously, planning can feel so productive, and sometimes it's comforting just to stay in research or prep mode. But when you're stuck in that space for too long, it's actually, did you know this? That it's actually costing you money, time, and freedom. I don't think we think about that enough, but when you really look at it, it is. What are some ways that perfectionism that you think shows up that people don't always recognize? It's not always about being perfect, but sometimes it's just not starting at all, or what do you see about that with perfectionism?
So in my own life, my own work life, I realize when the perfectionism monster, which is really just fear, fear of being judged, fear of doing something wrong, shows up when I am not taking intentional steps and intentional actions. And what I've done in my life to combat that is that you talked a little bit about this earlier. Um, or maybe on one of our other lives where we've discussed time blocking and deciding on certain actions we're going to take. And if I let myself go into kind of creative planning mode, I can go hours without actually having done any real like steps that move something forward. But I've done a lot of thought work, and you think, oh, huh, I made a lot of progress thinking about that today. No, you didn't. Other areas where I see this happen, I'm trying to think of some examples of perfectionism where it ends up hurting ourselves. I've seen students, for example, in the bookkeeping space, when you're doing bookkeeping work and you need to categorize transactions, sometimes you need to ask a client for, hey, what did that mean? What was this receipt for? What was that draw for? And you're worried about sending financials and sending finalized things out because you're still waiting for little bits of information. And so I've seen new business owners wait and wait to deliver on things, thinking that, oh, the final product isn't 100% perfect because I'm waiting on some other information. Maybe there's some other factors. And then in the end, they end up doing a disservice to themselves, their business, and their clients because they're waiting for things to look perfect. I've also seen it appear in communication. You know, you're not quite sure how you want to word an email exactly right. I see this in the millennial population. I'm a millennial. We like talk about it. The other millennials on our team, you know, we want to communicate really well and we never want to offend anybody. And so we overcomplicate. What are the words going to be in this email? And you take forever. I've seen that happen. I've
I was
seen
going to add to this. Can I add real quickly as you just
absolutely.
said that? So one of the ones that I've seen here in the bookkeeper business is that they were like, I've got to wait and get my pitch perfect, or I've got to make sure that my pricing sheet is perfect before I call them back. I'm like, why? Just call them. Like get on
Mhm.
a phone call and call them and then just explain that it's not perfect, that you're working on, on your proposal and da 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 da, right? Like but I've seen people lose business or lose the momentum because they were wanting to wait for that
Mhm.
perfect opportunity or wait till it's completely done versus just call them, just chat with them and get it going, right?
And it's just a fear response, especially with newer people. Maybe you haven't done a lot of discovery calls, maybe you haven't done a lot of quoting, but you know, sitting at home thinking about what I might say or what I might quote, that is not going to get you to where you need to go. It's like learning to do the monkey bars whenever you're on the playground at school. You're not going to think your way into doing it. I say that example because my dad always tells a story when I was a kid. I would come home with these like calluses on my hands because I couldn't do the monkey bars and I really wanted to do it because I was so embarrassed. And I use that to remind myself. It's the action, it's the building the calluses because you're taking steps, you're maybe messing up a little bit, you fall on the third one, but next time you're gonna get all the way to the fourth. It's taking that action. And sometimes you got to work with the people around you, like Deanna getting on a call with you, getting on a call with Bill, someone on our team, to practice, to actually take a step and talk to another person, practice your pitch, talk about your quoting, but then just call the person because
Hmm.
the answer is always going to be no, you know, if you don't take that next step.
Yeah, and if you wait too long, I feel like sometimes you overthink it and you get yourself so nervous that then you don't. So
Yeah.
I think just jumping in and doing it and then just going through the process, regardless of the outcome, that getting that momentum going is so much better than
Mhm.
because when I overthink something, I get nervous and I don't want to do. I just like, let's go,
Yeah.
let's talk through it, you know?
So, well, you're going into our next point about overthinking. I want to talk about that a little bit. Why do you think new entrepreneurs can spend more time questioning their idea, what they should do, instead of actually offering their service, posting their social, deciding on their business name, and just forming their LLC? Why do you think that happens?
Well, I think it's because of a couple things. You got fear of failure, right? Like also they are a lot of business owners want to be perfect, but they're afraid of failing for what other people think. Or it could be like imposter syndrome, right? Like they feel like they're just not ready yet.
Mm,
I've seen that a lot with new entrepreneurs. Like when they're new in their business, they're like, I'm just not ready yet. You're never going to be ready if you don't dive in. Like you have to do it. Don't be afraid to fail, be afraid to not start. I think that's the key, right? So I think fear of failure is one. I think sometimes too, you can get information overload where you're just like you get so much in your head that you start doubting yourself, and sometimes that can be kind of a bad thing. So I always try to, like, when I'm looking at something, maybe I'm listening to a podcast or I'm reading a book, I'm a big sticky note person, so then I just write down what I wanted to get out of that, and then I focus on that. Because if I try to focus on too much, for me, I'm saying information can be a big overload for me. And then I think also just you know, I think some people confuse planning with progress. Like
mhm,
they think, oh, we talked about this earlier, oh, I planned it, I did all these things, but if that doesn't bring revenue, then you're not really moving forward, right? So real progress comes from taking action, offering your service, even before it's fully built. Like build the plane as you go, build the plane. Like, and then let's go. But you can't just sit there and go, well, I'm gonna draw the plane what it looks like. No, build the plane and take off, right? So I think there's a lot of factors, but I think sometimes we worry about what others think. We worry about, we second guess ourselves all the time, and you can't do that. You just got to take action. You just got to move with it.
mhm.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions too about that because I've been guilty this before of, I'm not ready yet, right? And that person, you get people that come into our academy, like, I'm not ready yet. But they've been saying that for 4, 5, 6 months. So what
Mhm.
do you tell that person that just keeps using that same excuse over and over again?
Yeah, so when I hear people say I'm not ready yet over and over and over again, whether they've started their business or they're just thinking about starting their business, oh, I'm just not ready yet. Either their current life experience is not painful enough quite yet for them to be forced into action. They don't, maybe they think they want it bad enough, but they're not willing to make the necessary sacrifices. And I think people build up those sacrifices in their head more than they are. What that could look like is maybe you're not going to watch 3 episodes of that new TV show on Netflix tonight, and for 2 of those episodes, you are going to choose your business name, file for your LLC, and create a social media post, or text your family group chat, "Hey, I started a bookkeeping business." So like I said, either they're not, their experience isn't quite painful enough yet to take action. They aren't willing to, put aside some things that is not moving them forward. And I think too, we find comfort in our habits. And it's hard to create those new neural pathways in your brain too when you're creating a new habit. Because really, if you're going to change your life, you got to change who you've been. You got to change the habit of not getting up early and going on a walk, or getting started because you wanted to sleep in a little bit. You got to change spending that extra time on your phone or social media. And it takes intentional action to change your situation, start something new. And I think sometimes people get in the trap of, oh, well, I'll do it when I'm motivated. But motivation doesn't come from, either if your experience isn't painful enough, or you're not just going to wake up and feel like doing new things. That's not how your brain is hardwired. So I hope that that answered your question. I went a
No,
little
it did.
ramble, but it's that you have to take intentional action and look, really evaluate what you're doing. And you know, there's a prompt actually that you can put into ChatGPT that I've done recently that helps kind of call yourself out. And let me see if I can remember it. You put it in, um, especially if you use ChatGPT a lot. ChatGPT, tell me, after all the information you've collected on me, which sounds a little scary, um, with radical candor, what would you say is keeping me stuck? And what would you say will put me forward? I'm gonna see if I can look up the actual prompt here in a second. But I did it recently and was like, oh my gosh, I need to do all of this to move myself
You
forward.
got you got to do that. You got to play around in ChatGPT too. It's amazing what it can
Your
do.
therapist, it'll put you forward, and oh my goodness,
The
I'm gonna
best
look that
therapist.
up.
So everyone that's watching, I hope what Emily and I shared, I hope it's helped. We're very passionate about what we do here and we really want to see you succeed. And we are those kind of people that we will take that phone from you and we will hold you accountable. And so is everyone else here at the Stay at Home Bookkeeper Academy. So we truly want to see you move your business to the next level. So if you're ready to stop planning and actually start doing, I want you to scan that code. You can book a free clarity call with our team. I can promise you this. This is not pressure. It is just a conversation. Because sometimes the only thing between what you have and the life that you want is just that one imperfect step. So we want to leave you with that today. Stop planning, start doing, move forward, take that one imperfect step forward, scan that QR code. We're looking forward to seeing all of you inside of the Academy.